Welcome to the Curly Hair Q&A show. I am your host, Ken Nichols, and I'm here with Melanie Nichols. She is the founder of the Raw Curls brand of natural and organic curly hair products that can be found at rawhairorganics.com. And she is also the founder of the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida. It's one of the top curly hair salons in the country, and Melanie is one of the top curl and hair color experts anywhere in the world. She is also the founder of the Raw Curls Academy. What is the Raw Curls Academy? The Raw Curls Academy is basically a workshop that trains up licensed hairstylists to become curly hair specialists. And you can find out all about that and all about the classes at Don't Put That Up, Helen. Don't put that up, Helen. Don't put that up, Helen. This is show number 214. If you have been following along, welcome. We've got the whole family here tonight. How are you, Melanie?
I'm good.
Yeah, this is our Easter episode. If you celebrate, happy Easter.
I don't.
Coming up, you don't. Then what is that pink hat and Easter egg blue and Easter egg pink dress you have on?
Oh, and these. I knew you'd be so excited that I brought these for you.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah. You got to get in the spirit. What hat? Oh, this hat. You mean this big thing on my head?
It's a bonnet.
Oh, my bonnet.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot Murphy's bonnet. I'm so sad. She has one that kind of matches my dress, actually.
Yep, sure does.
I know. I forgot.
Where is it?
It's at home. I tried to stop and get her something on the way here, and the store I went to didn't have anything. But anyway, yes, this is my little Easter bonnet and also my Kentucky Derby bonnet and whatever else bonnet that I need a bonnet for.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bonnet for the Kentucky Derby.
What is it?
Let's see if anybody knows. If you know, post it in the comment section wherever you're watching this.
They're always too big on me, so I love hats, but they look ridiculous on me because it's so big. Actually, the headphones are holding it on quite nicely because otherwise it falls down over my whole face because I have a small little head.
Right.
I need a kid's hat.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. If you're new this evening, thanks for joining us. We are the internet's longest running curly hair Q&A show that is run by curl industry experts, and our guests are typically curl industry experts as well. We live stream the show every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time in several different places, one of which is Facebook. Several places on Facebook, such as in the Curly Girl Support Group, the Curly Hair Q&A group, the Diva Curl User Support Group, the Raw Curls User Support Group, the Curly Silvers Support Group, the Shea Moisture User Support Group, and the Curly Hair Q&A Show Facebook page. If you are a Facebook member, you can join any one of those groups, and you can join in the discussion and the Q&A if you'd like. We are also live streaming every Monday night on YouTube on the Curly Hair Q&A Show YouTube channel. We actually have all of our previous episodes are archived there, so you can find them if you want to check out some of the other shows, check out some of the interviews. We've got all the interviews in one segment, and we've got all of the 100 or so curly hair Q&A question of the days that we used to do that we're going to start up this year at some point again when we get some time, and you can find them all there. All kinds of neat stuff. We are also live streaming on Instagram at Raw Curls. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, Instagram.
Hey, Instagram. In addition to all that, we are also an award-winning podcast. Hooray. We were the number 2 ranked hair industry podcast in 2019 and 2021 that you must listen to and subscribe to.
2 out of 2.
2 out of 2. Yep. We're number 2 in more ways than one. You can listen to this episode and all the previous archive shows and interviews on the Curly Hair Q&A podcast every Monday night. Typically about 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time. This show will be uploaded and live, and you can check that out and listen to any of those previous episodes as well. Anywhere that you consume your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Podcast Addict, Podbean, and SoundCloud. So there you go. Wherever you want to consume us, you can. There's plenty of places to hear us and join in on the conversation if you'd like and get your questions answered. So
wherever you turn, there we are.
There we are. Yep. Yep. That's kind of our motto. It's becoming our motto. Anyway, so Melanie, how are things at the salon today? Or this week, I should say.
Today.
Well, I know you were there today because I saw the video. I saw the because you were on the stream with us.
Yeah.
So you were kind of there.
Yeah.
Couldn't
No.
hear you, but we saw
No.
you there. But so
I
how
don't know. I
are
have problems with Zoom.
yeah. So how are things at the Raw Hair Organic Salon this week? Any good curly clients? Anything good going on as America's favorite curl specialist?
Yes.
Yes, she says.
Yes, I can't even get everybody in, actually. We have so many people, trying to get in for curly cuts, and I'm just, working so many hours to try to do that and accommodate people. But unfortunately, there's one of me, and I work like 3 people already. So, but this week was fun. I had lots of good clients come in, of course, and some curl transformations. But um, one of my you're taking those off already?
Yes, I am.
No.
I already
You're
got sparkles in my eyes.
It's good to have sparkles.
Okay.
You need some sparkle
Happy
in your
Easter.
eye.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my, I have lots of favorites, but and
Kind of like kids.
yeah,
Oh, this is
like that one
they're
kid.
all my favorites.
Yeah, that was every color was his favorite color. It was funny, but one of my most unique clients, I guess, was in the salon today. Not today, this week, and it's fun. She's so much fun, but it's really interesting because she's completely deaf. So
Like Murphy Murph.
yeah, yeah. And Murphy was there the first time she came to me, and they got to meet, so they had a special bond. But anyway, she's quite just so amazing, and she's so much fun, and her mom comes to me now, and she's one of my favorites. She's just a blast. But Rachel is just, what an amazing, inspirational person. She has not let this slow her down with anything at all. And, we're able to communicate. It's amazing. This definitely helps to have technology today because I'm not very good at sign language. She can read
Yeah,
lips.
you are.
But,
You flip people off, and
well,
I
yeah,
get
that's
that.
I know a little bit.
Pretty good.
But yeah, that's about it.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, yeah, it could. So, but now, and wearing masks and stuff, that doesn't help.
No.
When they're trying to read lips, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
But she is able to, she has a cochlear implant. So, but,
Cool.
at times she has to take that off. So then she can't hear at all. But we still are able to communicate through technology with her phone. You can talk to it, and then it does like a voice text. So I talk to the phone, and it tells her what I'm saying, and she talks back, or she types me back, and so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, she's got awesome curly hair too. So
Did you get any pictures?
I didn't. She wanted to leave wet because I used the new curl cream on her, and
Yeah.
she wanted to let it air dry and see how it worked in her hair.
Uh-huh.
So I knew she told me that from the beginning, so I didn't take the before pictures because she was not gonna.
I got it.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up, and I'll just want to mention this quickly, just because it's been interesting topic of discussion. We've been selling curl cream like crazy since the
Yeah.
launch. We've
Yeah.
had a really hard time keeping it in stock. Hoping by the end of this week to have to be able to make maybe another 100 or 200 bottles, maybe. We're having a real struggle with it, but people are experimenting with it, and it's interesting. And some people are saying, less is more. Some people are saying wet hair. Some people are saying dry hair. Some people are saying somewhere in the middle. Do you have any thoughts or suggestions, or what are you seeing with using it? Where is it too heavy? Where is it too much? Where is it? Where's the sweet spot? You
Yeah,
finding anything?
so
Or?
it's definitely, it's not one of those products that you're going to use as much of it as far as an amount on your hair like a gel. You use less.
Is it more like a finisher then?
No, not at
No?
all. It's a styler.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a styler, and I apply it to the really wet hair, soaking wet hair. And I'm applying it in a similar way to gel. It depends on the hair, some people I'm a little more thorough, going section by section, but then there's people that don't have as much hair that I'm kind of just running taking my fingers and running it through, and especially if I'm going to follow that with a gel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite as thorough and heavy with the cream if I'm going to follow it with a gel. Like on Rachel, where I was just going to style with the cream, I'm using about a pea size of product for each section, and that can go for one section to two sections. And we're talking about
That's a
maybe,
little.
yeah, maybe half-inch sections, that I'm separating from side to side, and then I'm working that through from root to end. Yeah, it's a little bit because it's got a slip to it, and it's a cream. It's like putting conditioner in your hair, so you don't need. It goes a long way. You don't need nearly as much as you would as a gel. So yes, I agree with whoever is saying less is more. Um, so it's gonna go a long, long way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to over apply for sure because
Yeah.
again, that's like a conditioner. It's got a slip to it. You're just going to end up with too much on the hair.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up just because you're seeing that, and that's any new product that that you use on your hair, you've got to experiment with it on yourself.
Right.
You
And I know
have to.
everyone's like super excited, and I've had other clients of mine, contact me or come in wanting the curl cream, and they don't really have the hair type that I would recommend it for. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying I would not recommend it for like finer, thinner hair. On my hair, I would have to use a very small amount and then follow it with a firm gel for sure. But those people with a very fine or thinner hair, they're not people that I would typically use a curl cream on because
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be more weighty and a little heavier. Again, it's like leaving a cream conditioner in your hair, so that's not something that would normally be suggested for those people.
Yeah.
If you did, you have to be very, very light with it. So but again, everyone has their own likes and dislikes and their own routine. But from coming from me working with hair, that's not someone that would be the ideal candidate.
Yeah. Okay. Tonight we are sponsored by Raw Curls and the Raw Curls Academy, which I described at the beginning of the show. We've got some upcoming classes, several over the course of 2021. We've got a class coming up April 25th and 26th. I have one spot left in the April 25th and 26th class at the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida. If you are a licensed professional stylist and would like some curly hair training, go to rawcurls.com/academy. And notice I didn't say www like we watched last night.
www. That was so funny. That was funny because we all did that.
We watched the comedian last night and they were talking about that.
Yeah,
But
it was funny. I got to tell someone about that.
Yeah.
She'll love it.
we have one spot available at the class in Naples, Florida, and we'll talk about the rest next week. I got a whole bunch of classes, but keep in mind we've got a class coming up in Stillwater, Minnesota at Uptown Curl Salon, July 31st through August 1st. We've got plenty of spots available there because we've got a lot of room to work with, and we can socially distance our students. So if you are somewhere in the Midwest or northern part of the country, you could sign up for the class July 31st and August 1st, and the weather will be nice up there as well, because that's like the heart of summer. Stillwater, Minnesota.
I
Minneapolis,
believe we still need one or two models for the April class.
For the April class?
Uh-huh.
If you'd like to be a curly hair model and you are in the Southwest Florida area, give Melanie a shout out. Melanie at rawhairorganics.com, right? Is that where you'd like them to contact you?
No, I'd rather have them text me.
Okay.
Yeah, 239-206-0939.
Yep.
Yeah, email.
Test a picture of yourself. That's me with email. I can't even get to it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I get like thousands a day, and I just have to scroll through them. But yeah, it's easier to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
She's scratching. You might want to open the door.
Hold on. Murphy wants in.
Murphy's
I didn't set up a
knocking.
mic for her. But.
Oh, she's got her little bunny rabbit here.
Come on, buddy.
Hi, buddy. Come on in. Aw.
There she is.
Hi, sweetheart.
She doesn't like to be alone. Well, she's with Helen. She missed Helen. We've got Helen's in the control room tonight. Eric is off. So we've got kind of a good news. We got a couple interesting things to talk about before we get into questions, and we're going to talk about part two about the products that that we talked about last week. We're going to talk about part 2, and then we'll get into part 3 next week. Here's interesting fun fact. Melanie finally got a bike.
Yay!
Yay! Would you guys like to see it? Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
Would you like to see it? There it is.
There's my new bike.
She finally got a bike.
Wheels.
It matches what you're wearing, kind of.
Oh, yeah, it does.
The
It's my
pink and the
Easter
purple
bike.
and the white.
Doesn't have a basket though.
It does not have a basket.
That's
so
okay. We have a trailer,
We we have a trailer. I haven't hooked it up yet, but
and it's a Schwinn too.
and it's a
I think
Schwinn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Schwinn.
So she got a nice
yeah.
bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can ride with a neighbor girl.
You can ride with the neighbor girl. We have a neighbor girl. We live on a block that is, it's 2 miles long one way, right? It's 2 miles long one way, straight, flat, straight, flat. And there is a girl, a teenage girl, and she's homeschooled. And
Okay.
she takes breaks throughout the day of her schooling, and she'll ride laps up and down with her basket, with her bike, or with her bike with her basket on it. And she goes up and back, and just periodically throughout the day, that's how she takes her breaks. So you have a riding partner, because I don't have a bike anymore because it died, just like your old one did. So
Looks like this bunny.
I'm next for a
Well,
bike.
it looks like
It looks like a bunny.
run over. It's a
Yeah.
little flat.
So yeah, so I'll get some pictures of Melanie out there training for the Tour de France.
Right.
Tour de France.
So wait till you see my
Yeah.
grandma's seat.
Oh yeah, I'll pick that up on Wednesday.
What's
so
that?
anyway, okay, can we get into the show?
Okay.
We'll get going. So now I'm gonna piss you off.
Oh, good.
Would you like to be pissed
That's
off?
easy.
Okay, this is easy. Okay, it's actually easy. So, but we'll get into
He's
we'll
good
get
at
into
doing that.
Yeah, we'll get into this. So this past Saturday night was a new episode of Shark Tank, and on Shark Tank,
Oh no.
a husband and wife team, Patty and Andy Watney, came on the show, and they presented a new product that they had developed at home together, and it is called the Hairy Grabber. Let's take a look at it. And that is the Hairy Grabber.
Mm-hmm.
The Hairy Grabber. This is you'll be pissed at first, but you ain't gonna be pissed at the end.
Yeah, because I wonder, because Ken's a procrastinator.
No, Ken is overworked and has plenty of things on his plate. Has a hard time getting them
There's
done.
something I talked about
Uh-huh.
for years.
Look at my office. Look at my entire, and you'll see why. So anyway, so they came out and they presented this item, and they developed it after they realized that they were having problems with their shower drain getting clogged.
Mm-hmm.
And this item suction cups to the wall of the shower stall, and you wipe your hand across it, and it grabs the hair off your hand
What a shocker.
and holds it on
and nobody will buy it, right?
and holds it on the wall. So they came on to Shark Tank because they're looking for investors, because they have started manufacturing it. They have not gone very far with it because it's extremely expensive to manufacture products and then be able to market them. Is that a shock to you? It ain't a shock to us.
No.
We know it. We know it. You know what? Here's kind of an insider tip. It all depends on how far you're willing to go. What are you willing to stomach? What are you willing to give up? You know, it's really that. It's what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up your free time? Are you willing to give up television? Are you willing to give up vacations? Are you willing to give up a new car every 3 years? It's all that kind of stuff. You willing to give up your house? How far do you want to go? Well, they've decided they want investor because they don't want to go any farther with this, right? Because it's gotten expensive. So they presented this. You're gonna love this. Okay. Here's another fun fact before we get into this. Yes, you do. Melanie actually knows Damon John.
I do.
Yep, sure do. We actually have pictures somewhere.
At
Her,
the salon.
her with them together. Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
at the
that's
salon.
right. You do. But anyway, she actually knows him. So let's get into this. So the first shark that got a shot at this was Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful, who's bald. Mr. Wonderful says he's already an investor in a drain screen company. And he said it might be a conflict for him. Okay? Because he's already in a drain screen company as an investor. But he also concluded by saying This product should never come to market. Now, when I heard this, I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I know Mr. Wonderful. I know how he operates.
He doesn't want competition.
He didn't want competition. But at the same time, I don't know. You remember he invested in Plated a year later when he saw the guy who had started it after the pitch. He saw him a year later walking on the street. And he said, hey, how's that thing going? He's like, well, we're doing all right, but we could use some investment. And then he invested. And it makes you wonder, it's like, is he waiting this out, right? Okay. So he said no. He's like, I'm out. This thing should never come to market. The next to get a shot at it were Barbara and Lori. Now, this is a Lori, right?
Yeah.
This is 100% a Lori investment. Lori's got literally dozens of things in every Bed Bath & Beyond in the country. That's her deal. She's QVC queen, right?
Right.
Get this. I'm shocked at their response. Both of them said no. And both of them said they didn't think hair in the shower was a big deal. Now, we're going to talk about this when this is done, because I know what you guys are all thinking, but
everyone talks about it.
You know what I would have put in the pitch in this? Is I would have brought that PBA survey out and said 70% of the people in this world have some type of curly and textured hair that would benefit from this.
You know what I would have done? You know what? Because now I am creative with the marketing, and it would have been perfect because it would have been a shock factor. They wouldn't forget it. I would take my big old wad of hair and I would throw it on them. That's what I pull out of the shower. And we all throw it against the wall or rub it against the wall. Yeah, totally, that would be so fun.
Because
who doesn't do that? Every woman I talk to that has like longer hair.
Okay, well, that's really interesting, because all of the sharks said that they thought the whole pitch, they thought the whole thing was gross.
It is gross. That's
right, exactly. That's the
reason for the product.
Exactly, right? Okay. That's not how they saw it. So Barbara and Lori didn't think there was a need for this in the shower. They didn't think hair in the shower was a big deal. Both of them backed out. Okay? All right? That leaves Mark and Damon. Both of them felt the company was in a too early of a stage for them to invest in. If you know anything about Shark Tank and those guys, they're right. They're too early. They don't want stuff where they're looking at stuff that they want to invest in, that the owners or the people that have developed the product have went as far as they possibly can with their resources and have literally put anything into it. Because their theory is that if you've put everything you possibly can into this and you're practically starving to death, they know that you're going to work as hard as you can with their money to get out of that situation.
I am starving to death.
To get out of that situation. Well, that's another story. We're not going to talk about that tonight. You actually are kind of starving to death. So if you've watched the show enough, you know Mark and Dan. Yeah, that's exactly. I totally know. That's exactly what they'd say.
Even like when they've done these mini Shark Tank things at the hair shows, at the beauty shows, at conventions, and they won't even. When you apply, you have to be making like 5 million or more already.
The last one they did at Cosmoprof, I think it was you had to have 5 million in revenue or not. Yeah. It takes a lot to get to 5 million in revenue.
I mean, you're kind of like, why do you need an investor at
that point? You're right. At that point, I don't even know if I'd be looking for an investor at that point. I'd be like, I'll look for somebody to buy it if I want to get rid of it, right? If I don't want to, But anyway, so they left with no deal. Here's where it gets interesting.
I would have been
Would you? Because
I think
they made it clear. The husband and wife made it clear. They left with no deal. And they left open the possibility of closing down the company if they are only able to sell it local, because COVID has hurt them quite a bit, and they've only been able to sell it on Amazon, and they've sold about and this is updated now. This is as of this morning. Because you know how this goes, that until this show comes out, they can't actually talk about it. They've sold up to this point. They've sold about 1,000 of them. So, Melanie, you talked about angel investing a few years ago. You want to buy this thing?
No. I have my own ideas, and but yeah.
You could buy them out. If they're really sick of it, you could buy the whole thing out. Say, hey, give me the whole thing. You're done. Because look, they've done all the tooling. They've done all the R&D. They've got all the packaging done. Throw it on your site.
Mm-hmm.
If any of you
It's
guys
not
would be
exactly
interested in
how,
this,
I had this idea.
comment in the comment
Yeah.
section. Let's see.
I had this idea many years ago, and I
Yep.
just haven't.
Yep.
Ken kind of held me back, and I said I was going to move forward with it, but I haven't.
Because I don't have the
But
time.
yeah, my design would be a little different, but yeah, maybe you could tweak it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, in fact, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand the story. I mean, the way I saw afterwards at when I saw some of the Q&A afterwards, they couldn't come up with the money for the tooling, which we know because it's expensive, and they ended up making the first prototypes on a 3D printer. That's how they did it.
For sure.
And so yeah, sure. So I totally get it. After I heard this whole thing and read the article, I'm like, I know exactly where they are. They're out of the cash that they wanted to spend for this. And but we know that this you know what? I mean, there's if Marcus Lemonis was on there, there would have been a deal.
Why do you think?
Because he's already in a curly ethnic hair brand.
I think
he's
just,
in a Ishani. I can't remember the name of it. It's gonna drive me crazy. Ishanti,
yeah, right.
Ishte, whatever.
Yeah.
He's already in there. He's already got a company, a curly hair product company.
I think, if someone like myself or a professional would have presented it, maybe that could have gone better. Maybe not.
For sure.
But
she's a florist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think I might have been a little more convincing.
She had hair on the wall and, yeah.
Well, I think it's a good product.
Yeah. If any of you guys know those people, have them reach out to us.
Yeah.
Maybe Melanie will throw her weight behind it. Well, that's kind of funny since you're starving to death.
Right. I don't have very much weight to throw, but
no, you don't.
Okay.
You clearly don't. But anyway, so yeah, I thought that was interesting. Lastly, before we get started, this Wednesday, the 31st, last day of March. There's going to be there's going to be an RH Organic skincare sale. Only on a couple of items. One of which, the anti-aging skincare kit. It's normally $189. It's normally $189 for the RH Organics anti-aging skincare kit. It's normally $189 for the RH Organics. It's normally $189 for the RH Organic skincare kit. And it's going to be on sale on a really, really killer deal.
Is it going to be on sale?
It's going to be on sale.
For how much?
I'm not going to tell you, but it's going to be a killer deal.
Oh.
So if you like really high quality skincare products, this stuff is already, ask people who use it.
It's awesome.
You know what? Hey, Melanie, if you want, reach over there and grab our award and show everybody who's watching on the live stream our award. Should be leaning up against the wall, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in the way.
There's a lot of stuff in the way in here. So, yeah, it's actually the award-winning RH Organic Skincare. And Melanie will show you our 2019 award from Organic Spa Magazine.
Oh, the bunny just died.
Oh, the bunny just died. So anyway, you can just lay it flat.
Yeah,
there
excitement.
You go. Yeah. So there it is. You just lay it flat on there. It's a really it
really is great.
That you've never heard of. It's the best brand you've never heard of.
Yeah, like we had developed this a long time ago, and then I was very hesitant to come out with it because skincare. Ooh, it can be tricky, way more difficult and complicated than hair care for sure. Every individual, I know my skin is so sensitive. I break out from everything. And that's what's so, one of the great things about this line is that it's an anti-aging line, but it's not heavy and greasy like a lot of them are. A lot of those anti-aging lines are for, elderly skin that's very dehydrated. And so it's just very heavy and moisturizing. And so people like myself need the benefits of, you know, um, getting rid of fine lines and wrinkles and spots and all those things that go along with aging. Tighten the skin. We are, losing collagen and elasticity. So this line helps to deal with all of those scenarios, but not be that greasy. It
Mm-hmm.
absorbs. It's light. It's really, but yeah,
Yep.
people that use it really love it.
Yep.
It works.
Yeah. I don't mean to be I don't mean to be.
Sales pitchy.
It's not sales pitchy.
Oh,
It's
that's what you
I don't
always
want to
say.
sound because it sounds kind of conceited. I don't mean it that way at all. People that know me,
Don't
I
say
do
you're
not
not
I do
conceited.
not look my age. I do
Oh,
not look my age. My skin looks
he's
way
80.
better.
Doesn't he look amazing?
Oh, you're so funny. You're so
You
funny.
got sparkles. You
I
have a
know I do.
sparkle.
They're
You have
like in my.
twinkles in your eye.
I don't have any eyes.
Oh yeah.
All
Put
right,
on your glasses, and you'd be able to see.
I can see.
Mm.
Anyway.
Oh, bunny. We gotta
All
fix
right,
bunny.
the bunny died again. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get started. You can check that stuff out at rawhairorganics.com in the
That's a good deal.
skincare area. You'll see it. Oh, it's going to be a really good deal.
Is that like
It's a good deal. It's a really good deal at $189 for 4 items. I mean, the serum
Yeah.
alone. This is a big secret. We
tell
don't
it
talk
then.
about it often.
You always tell secrets. Don't
I
tell
do
secrets.
sell secrets. The that vitamin C stem cell serum sells at the spa of the highest end luxury hotel line in the country for $400 an ounce.
Mm.
We sell it for like
We need to raise our price.
way less, way less.
I brought you a present,
Can I see it? What is it?
and it was funny because you were looking for your water.
Oh, what is this?
They're teas.
Oh,
Because I bought them for me, and I never.
You don't
works-
like tea?
I know. I always think I'm going to be able to drink it, and they're gross.
Ah,
But those two have too much sugar. I can't have sugar right now.
okay. Melanie, sugar
No
detoxing.
sugar for me. I found something though that's
So
really
this is
cool.
oolong tea?
Yeah, whatever that is, black and green tea.
I don't know. How's it taste?
Terrible.
Really?
Yeah, but you'll like it.
Did you ever wonder why do people do that? This is terrible. Try it.
You'll
Like
like it.
why?
You'll
Oh, this
like
is
it.
awful. Here, try it. What? Why? Why do people do that? I think it's good, but I like
Told
tea.
you. I told you.
See?
So
'Cause
you'll
I like
probably
it.
like the other ones, but they're sweeter, so I couldn't
Okay.
have them. But
Well, thank you.
because I can't have sugar, I decided I was looking for something because, the sugar gave me some extra energy.
The tea will, that's for sure.
Yeah,
It'll-
well, I can't have that. Well,
oh yeah, because you get the
Well, I
pep-
found this water,
palpitations.
and I'm like super excited about it. It's called Limitless, and so it says lightly caffeinated, sparkling water, and there's no sugar, there's no artificial sweeteners, and no calories.
You're not a fan of sparkling water.
I know, but it's just lightly sparkling,
Yeah.
and so it just has a little bit of caffeine. So hopefully that will get me through the days. Because wow, without having the sugar, it has been rough. I definitely feel the difference in my energy levels. So I can't have too much caffeine, but maybe this will just give me that little. It tastes good.
Yep. She said that after dinner
So-
last night. I really want something sweet.
So I know. That's yummy. I like it.
Ooh.
I know.
It smells like melon of some sort.
It's cucumber pear.
Cucumber, that's
Cucumber,
it.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
And I bought a watermelon
that.
one because I can have watermelon.
So I got some teas too.
Yay.
Well, thanks.
So, yeah.
All right, let's get into part 2 of what we talked about last episode. We're gonna have at least one more episode about this. We'll take as long as we have to, but because it's such a long, detailed topic, we're breaking it up. So we're going to talk about this for maybe 10 or 15 minutes at most, and then we're going to get into questions, and that's it. And we'll get into more details. So, as we talked about, last week, there's a lot of not just misinformation, but there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to choosing curly hair products that are acceptable for curly hair. And we talked about how the curly girl method started and how Curly approved products or Curly Girl method approved products, how they started and how they were categorized last week. So if you missed last week's episode, go back and watch the video on YouTube or listen to the podcast, and you'll hear that explanation about that. It's important if you really want to know how this came to be where we are and how the confusion started and how we got here. Go back and listen to that or watch that, and you'll understand. It'll make this episode and the next episode after this make a whole lot more sense. So, let's talk tonight, Melanie. Let's go off of what we talked about last week, and let's talk about products in general and water solubility and buildup. Now, there's a lot to chew on right there, but I know people they're champing at the bit to really get a solid answer as to
Everyone says
how do I figure
chomping.
this out. And it's champing. I know horses. Anyway, and they really want a simple one sentence answer, and there just isn't. So I'm going to give you an explanation tonight about ingredients, and I think it's going to help make a whole lot of sense. Now, just to give you an idea, if you've never listened to the show before or never watched it before, I'm going to tell you a little bit about us. Melanie is a stylist. She's in her 24th year, curly hair specialist, and she is also a certified trichologist. What's a trichologist? Trichologist is someone that actually examines your hair and your scalp with a microscope and can make determinations about it and treatments as well. Is that a good way to kind of explain it in one sentence? One sentence.
Kind of.
You want to try it again in one sentence?
No, but it's really like the study of the hair and the scalp. You're talking more about the analysis.
Yeah, but I wanted people to know that you do it on people at your salon.
Right.
Yeah. So it's basically studying and analyzing hair and scalp of clients that come to our salon.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to see it up close and personal. In addition to that, that's Melanie. We also own a salon, as I mentioned always at the beginning of the broadcast, the Raw Hair Organic Salon. So we see, thousands of clients, real world clients behind the chair every single year. We also own a number of different brands of products that we manufacture, hair product brands in the natural and organic space, skincare brands like we talked about a little bit ago, pet care, and nutritional supplements as well. So we're in a lot of different areas as far as manufacturing products in the health and beauty and nutrition space. Okay. I myself spent close to 20 years before we started this in the chemical and ingredient industry, on an industrial and even in a food level as well. So we've got a lot of experience in everything from water treatment to hair and skin to nutritional supplements and manufacturing. The reason that I tell you that is because we're going to get into a little bit of detail that I know you're not hearing anywhere else, because I've searched, and unless you've had the kind of experience and do the kind of work that Melanie and I do for the last, literally, for me, 31 years, coming into my 32nd year, you wouldn't know this stuff. And that's why you're not seeing people really talk about it. When it comes to products, we're gonna compare some products tonight, and we're not comparing the products to actually compare the products. We're gonna do it to explain so you have an understanding as a curly haired person when you shop for products, so you understand, you've got a better basic understanding of what you're buying. Now, I know a lot of you that are listening or watching tonight have a ton of experience and know this inside and out. As I mentioned last week, we're not trying to educate you. We're trying to educate the lay person. So we're going to talk in real, easy to understand and easy to use terminology. So some of it that we might talk about might not be exactly how you with a ton of knowledge would would want it explained to you, but just know that we're not trying to educate you. We're trying to make it real basic. So, okay, so let's do this. I'm going to talk to you about ingredients tonight too, and we're going to start basically with that. So a lot of people ask, they'll see something like this VO5 strawberries and cream conditioner. A lot of people look at this. I say that like a year ago that I found this. Did I say like $1 a bottle?
Mm-hmm.
It was like $1 a bottle.
Yeah.
And this is a 12.5 ounce bottle. Okay. And I found it for $1 at Walgreens or CVS, like a bin of them.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
How'd they get the packaging even that cheap?
Okay, right. That's where we're going to get into. So, when you look at the ingredients on here, to a layperson, you would look at this and you would go off of basically what Lorraine Massey came up with in her when she came up with what was Curly Girl method approved products in her estimation, which again, go back and listen to the last episode and you'll see that's 20 years ago. That this, when you look at these ingredients, that this fit, it would be considered Curly Girl approved using those parameters. Now can you grab that bottle of like the raw curls, that stuff that's right over there, right there, grab that. Now we're going to talk about this. This is a 16 ounce bottle and this is a deep conditioning mask. This is a deep conditioner as opposed to a conditioner, but we're still going to use it. This 16 ounce bottle retails for $44. This 12.5 ounce bottle retails for $1. All right. The problem that a lot of people have, I hope you guys can see this on camera. I'm trying to show it to you. I'm trying to get back far enough. Okay. So if you're a layperson and you're just starting this journey, or maybe you've been in this journey for a while, you're going to look at these two items and you're going to say, okay, this raw curls product, I look at the ingredients, it's Curly Girl approved, all of it, right? And I look at this VO5 conditioner and it's Curly Girl approved, right? In theory, if I'm going off of that, why in the world would I spend $44 for this conditioner when I could spend $1 for this? Because if Curly Girl approved is all I'm trying to achieve, if that is the goal to beautiful curls, is I only have to use Curly Girl approved products, then I'm good. I'll buy this.
And it's pink and it smells like
and
strawberries.
It's pink
and
and
cream.
it smells like strawberries and it reeks in here, doesn't it?
Yep.
Because I had the door closed and it smells without the bottle being opened. So what's the deal? Why would I waste my money on anything even more expensive? Now, keep in mind, these are probably, if you're looking at this bottle of VO5 at $1 for a 12.5 ounce bottle, this is probably the lowest of the lowest end of the spectrum. Okay. The highest end of the spectrum would be something like this Raw Curls 16 ounce conditioner. This at 44. Inner Sense is probably 48. Weed Ad's probably about the same, about 40, 48, 44, 48, something like that, for about the same size bottles. Like those three brands off the top of my head, they're probably the highest end. They probably are. There's a big C between those two. I'm going to explain to you now.
C for curly?
Yeah, right. C for curly. There's a big gap between these. Now, let's talk about ingredients, because what's the difference between these two? Ingredients. It's all about ingredients. We've talked about this before. Ingredients matter. Ingredients matter. And I'm going to get into the details of that tonight. And then next week we'll get even more specific on products. So, being that I came from the chemical and ingredient distribution company, I sold millions of dollars of chemicals at one point. For year after year after year, for all kinds of applications, from water treatment to manufacturing to drinking water to sewage water, all kinds of stuff. And there are several different grades of ingredients. And we're going to talk about those tonight. There's basically 7 grades, but we're going to talk about a couple more than that. And I'm going to explain them to you. And the reason that I'm going to explain these to you is it's going to help you to put, to kind of put 2 and 2 together about, why is there a $40 to $50 bottle that's almost the same size as a one that's a buck? Why would I use it? Here's why. So there's basically 7 different grades, but I'm gonna give you a list, and I'm gonna explain a bunch of them, and then I'm gonna tell you about manufacturing, because like I said, Melanie and I have been in the manufacturing business for a long time. We know quite a bit about it. We know quite a bit about how manufacturers, not only for stuff like ours, but for others, how they work. You've got food grade ingredients, cosmetic grade ingredients and chemicals, industrial grade ingredients and chemicals, pharmaceutical grade ingredients and chemicals, technical grade ingredients and chemicals. I'm going to give you a little more detail. ACS grade, those are chemicals or ingredients that meet or exceed a purity standard set by the American Chemical Society. This grade is acceptable for food, drugs, medicinal use, and can also be used for other applications and general procedures that require a stringent quality specification and have a purity percentage of slightly less than 95%. Those are really, really high quality chemicals and ingredients. Then you've got reagent grade. Reagent grade is typically equal to ACS grade, but it's also acceptable for food, drug, medicinal use, and is suitable in many other laboratory and analytical applications, and that is slightly less than 95% purity level. Again, really, really high quality. Next, we'd have USP grade, meets or exceeds the requirements of the United States Pharmacopoeia Association. This grade is acceptable in food, drugs, medicinal use. It's also used mostly for laboratory purposes, but USP grade being followed should always be reviewed prior to using it to make sure that it's proper for the methodology of something in a laboratory, or something that that would be in pharmaceutical testing and whatever. NF grade meets or exceeds the requirements of the national formulary. The USP and the NF jointly publish a book of public pharmacopoeial standards for chemical biological use substances, such as dosages, forms, compounding preparations, medical devices, and dietary supplements. Next, we'd have laboratory grade, and that's probably the most popular grade because it's used for educational purposes and applications, and its exact levels of impurities are unknown. While they're excellent for teaching and for training, it's not pure enough to be offered for food, drug, or medicinal use. Keep that in mind. I hope you guys are following this. I know it probably sounds a little bit tedious, but it's going to make a whole lot of sense in a minute. Then you've got purified.
Complicated.
Yeah, it does. I'm trying not to make it, but I want you to understand how many levels there are. Purified grade also is called pure or practical grade. It has no official standards, just as the last one we did. It's not pure enough to be offered for food, drug, medicinal type use of any kind. Then there's technical grade, which is used for commercial and industrial purposes. However, like many others, not pure enough to be offered for food, drug, or medicinal use. Remember, when I started listing these off, we also talked about cosmetic grade, surgical grade, industrial grade, food grade. We talked about a number of different grades, number of different purity levels. Hair products, for example, like I listed, like Raw Curls, I listed InnerSense, I listed Weed Ad. Those are ones off the top of my head that use really high quality ingredients. Raw Curls and InnerSense, probably to the best of my knowledge, I don't think anybody else in the curly hair game segment uses as pure of ingredients as our two companies do. I haven't seen them. They're very, very high quality.
Mm.
And that's why you see a difference between that at those prices and this here. Um, and we've talked about this
There
before.
are
And
some other
I,
there. I mean, because there's other organic brands like the ones like Oway
like
and
it, yeah, Olway would be another one.
Organic Color Systems. There's some
I don't
professional
know.
brands.
Does Organic Color Systems they fit in that? I suppose they probably
Yeah,
would.
they do.
Yeah, they probably would.
Absolutely. There's lots
Yeah.
of professional lines that have now jumped on the curly bandwagon, like we talked about.
Yeah. But I can't
they
think
have
of those.
clean
Yeah,
ingredients.
Olway I should have mentioned. I
But
God, I hate to
they're
even
very
throw.
pricey.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
pricey. But that,
yeah.
but that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So now, hopefully, that helps you to understand how the heck can you get a bottle that, supposedly by the 2001 standard of curly girl method approved or acceptable. How do you got this one for $1? Whereas we know from manufacturing, this bottle has a VO5 has a 2-piece label, a colored bottle, and a colored cap. We know that the bottle cap and the label alone is close to $1. Yet they're selling it retail. So a manufacturer is making this, right? Shipping it. And the store that it goes to, I got it from a Walgreens, has got to make money on it as well. At $1?
Sounds
what?
like a good deal.
For who? That's my question. For who? So now you understand why. It's because you can look at some of the ingredients on the back of this VO5 label. You can look at some of the ingredients on a Weed Ad label or a Raw Curls label, just because it's in front of me. And you think those 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients are the same, So InnerSense and Raw Curls and Oway and Weed Ad, they're ripping people off. They're gouging people. Well, now you know why. Because there's different grades of ingredients. And that's the thing. That's like for example.
You didn't really explain.
Well, I'm going to, because I'm gonna get into that next, but I wanted them to understand the difference, in grades of ingredients. But just to give you an idea, and then I'm gonna get into that. Just to expand on that, in our conditioner, not this deep conditioner, but in our regular conditioner, that I forget what that is. Is that $38-$40 a bottle, something like that? Whatever it is for a 16-ounce bottle.
For 16 ounce,
Yeah.
the conditioner. Well, we sell it for 35.
Yeah. Okay. The there's one ingredient in there, the patented ingredient, the molecule that makes it anti-frizz, the anti-frizz conditioner in it. That cost me $1 for each bottle, just to put that one ingredient in. Cost me $1. It literally cost me what they're selling this entire bottle for one ingredient, one molecule. And trust me, it's way at the bottom of the label. That's another thing we're going to talk about next week is, how do you figure out what percentages of what is in a bottle? We're going to talk about that next week. So let's talk about, now I'm going to expand on the grades of ingredients and why this matters. Okay. Again, I came from this industry, so I'm going to tell you a little story to explain it. I'm not going to make it really long, but I want you to understand the difference in the ingredients, like say an ingredient that's in this $1 bottle and a same exact ingredient per the label in the back of, say, a $44 bottle of a similar size like this, are completely different because of the grade. Now, when you're looking at something that's cosmetic grade, for example, or food grade, super pure, super expensive. You can be looking at something that's like one of these other grades. That's it. Let's just use industrial grade, just because it's on the top of my head. That a product like this VO5 is clearly using, and it's super, super cheap. Why is it super, super cheap? Because it's not pure. Because it's full of a lot of fillers, or what we are commonly known as inert ingredients. Now, how does this matter to curly hair?
Right. I was just going to say, so who cares?
Who cares? You care. And here's why you care. A lot of times you'll use products like this for a couple of washes, whatever, and you'll get lackluster results, but maybe acceptable, right? And if you're looking at them, and according to the 2001 version of the what's a curly girl method approved product or ingredients, that doesn't have, you might look at this and say, okay, it's acceptable, right? But after a while, could be a short while, could be a little bit longer, all of a sudden your hair gets weighed down, or it doesn't look as good, or it's not as shiny, or it's not, or whatever it is. And
The way you said that reminded me of that. Is it Kevin Trudeau? I'm trying to think of it's his. Who? No. It's
Who?
Who's the big, tall, inspirational speaker?
Oh, Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. But after a
while,
the
exactly.
circle it gets tired of being a circle. So
Right.
your curls become very sad and coated, and
Right.
Yeah.
Your circle is
After
tired
a
of being a circle.
while,
That's
yeah.
what happens. Well, the reason is because just because they're listed as being the same ingredient doesn't mean they're the same ingredient. And what really is the struggle here for people with curly hair is that if you're going off the letter of what we've all been told is the curly girl approved ingredient, or what it isn't, this is fine. This is totally acceptable, but it's not. And here's how I'm going to explain it. Because they use a ton of inert ingredients, it's not as pure. So why does that matter? Here's how it matters. And I'm going to tell this brief little story. I've told this before. I used to have a customer in one of my businesses where I sold a lot of these chemicals and ingredients and stuff like that. And I sold them a water treatment ingredient that is used in a lot of these health and beauty. We call them H&B. H&B products, lots of them, tons of them, right? I had a contract, very large contract for this municipality for their water treatment and for their large public swimming pools, right? Had this contract for a long time. I was selling them really good quality, food grade stuff, because it's water. People are drinking it. People are, swimming in it, whatever, right? All of a sudden, 1 year after all these years, I lose the contract. I don't get it. And I look at the bids. I go to look at the bids to see how I lost it. And I lost it by a lot. And I'm like, what is going on here, right? And I went to talk to people at this municipality, the government people, right? And, you get a relationship after a number of years. And I went to meet with them, and they were pissed. They were angry. They were looking at me like I'd been ripping off their community, their city, for years, right? And I was having a really hard time talking to him because it was super uncomfortable. And I left. Couple of months goes by, I get a call from one of these people at the municipality, and they said, "Hey, we're having a problem with this one big giant indoor swimming pool they had. We're having this problem with it.
Did you tell them the pound sand?
I almost did. They said, "Why don't you come out? We want you to come out and take a look at it." To which I did everything I could to not be snippy, but I said, "You're not buying my stuff anymore."
Why didn't they call the people they bought it from?
I said, I'm not the guy to call. And they said, "Yeah, we know." And he said very mousily, "Yeah, we know, but we want you to look at it." And I'm like, all right. Because now I'm interested, right? Now I'm intrigued, right? So I drive out there. You know what's funny about this story?
No.
A couple years later, a very good friend of ours won a seat on the school board of that district.
Oh gosh, Dean.
Yes, Dean. So anyway, but this happened before Dean was there. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened if Dean was there.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so I went out there, right? And I go out and I take a look at the water. It's a giant swimming pool, right? I go and I look at it and I'm like, huh. And he said, "Do you see what we see?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "It's just got like a haze to it. It doesn't have that sheen like it used to have. What's
Shocker.
going on?" Well, I didn't know at first, right? So I thought, okay, it's equipment problem. And I'm like, we had a company at the time that we fixed a lot of these big, public pools and water treatment stuff, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get your money one way or another, right? And so I'm like, let's go take a look at the equipment, figuring I'm going to find an equipment problem and I'm going to send a truck out, right? We go to look at the equipment. I'm looking at it. Everything's running right. pressures are right, everything's running right. It's like a big room. It's all these big, yeah, it's hard to explain. Big, right? And they've got these filter tanks where they're open and the water runs through these open tanks, right? And it's got these grids in them. And that's how it picks up all the, dirt and stuff from the pool, right? It sanitizes it afterwards. I start looking in these tanks, and I'm looking at these grids, these filter grids, and I can see all these little black specks on it. And I'm looking at the bottom of the tank, and I can see all these little black specks. And I'm thinking, something got in this pool. Something got in there. And I'm looking around, but they're all pretty much the same, these little spots, right? And I'm like, so I dig my hand in there because I want to get some of this out. And I'm looking at it, and it's all these dark black specks. And I start thinking about it, and I'm like, where's that chemical stuff they buy from me? I'm like, where is it? And they show, and there's a pallet, because they bought pallets of stuff from me. Big pallets, these big 50-pound bags, right? Like you would see, like if you were at a baker or a cook or whatever, like 50-pound bags at a restaurant, they're like that. And I look at it, and I cut one open. I said, can I cut one open? I cut one open. I look, and I can see it's supposed to be a pure white powder. It's white powder with all these black specks in it. And I'm like, what the heck?
Uh-huh.
I forget what it was, but it was $5 or $6 a bag. I lost that bid to us. That's why they thought we were the biggest scumbags on the planet, that we'd been ripping them off, right? So I pull the bag off. I look at the bag. I'm reading on the bag. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, okay, Arm & Hammer, same stuff that we know. I start looking at it, industrial grade. I'm like, there it is. That's how they got the bid, because they sold them an industrial grade chemical where I was selling them food grade. It had all these impurities in it. They didn't think it was a big deal, but when it got into the pool, into the body of water, made all the difference in the world. How does this apply? What does this mean to hair?
Dark. What'd you say? Hazy and
hazy.
dull,
It had lost its sheen. It had lost its shine. It just.
I've seen that happen on hair.
Yes, and there you go. And that's the difference between a product like this and a product like this. So you look at this and you'll say, okay, all Curly Girl approved ingredients, so my hair is going to look beautiful. Well, guess what? Not for long, because it's using all these chemicals and ingredients that have all these fillers and inert ingredients. And people say, well, it's water soluble. We're going to talk about that next week. It's water soluble. It means it all rinses out. That ingredient rinses out. That's a water soluble ingredient.
Right.
Unless it's an ingredient that's a low grade, that's full of fillers. Yeah, that ingredient might rinse out, but you know what? It's leaving all those black specks behind, or whatever. I quote unquote black specks. It's leaving all that other stuff behind.
And that's why people feel like they need to switch.
And that's why they need to switch. And that's why you've got all these people that are using products that are, quote unquote water soluble, or quote unquote Curly Girl method approved, yet they're clarifying every month or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. That's why. Or you get these people like, I've been following the Curly Girl method for the last 6 months, and I've been using Not Your Mother's Curl Talk, and I've been using I've been using Aussie Miracle Curls, and I've been using As I Am in my deep conditioner, and I've been using Shea Moisture for my other thing, and my curls look like heck. They're flat, they're lifeless. I'm clarifying every 2 weeks. This is bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
You guys getting it?
Yeah, and
That's
then
why.
I had a client on Saturday who is new to me, and this was I think the third time that I saw her. She's got lots of allergies and sensitivities. Anyway, she now brought her husband in, who wanted to talk to me because he was amazed at the transformation that he's seen in her hair with her curls. And he said, I've never before seen her hair look this good at home with her doing it herself, where it looks like she left the salon. And so he had wavy hair as well.
Yeah.
So, we ended up discussing products for him and doing a haircut on him as well. But it was so interesting to hear that comment coming from a spouse saying, I've never seen her hair look that good, where it was noticeable. There was a difference, something she was doing and using that was different. It was the raw curls, of course, but there is a visible difference. I'm going to say most of the time,
Yeah.
used properly, yeah, it just, yeah, there just is the
Yeah.
hair. So many people, there's another guy that just came in, to the salon just to buy products. He's like he bought the, I think, cleanser. I don't know about conditioner, but he's like, this is the best stuff I've ever used, and so it's amazing. You can clearly tell the difference, and you see the difference in your hair for sure.
Yeah. I hope you guys are understanding that, and you're grasping what we're trying to tell you. Um, I've got a quote that came off of one of the chemical industry websites, and I'm just going to read it just for a food for thought. Um, and like I said, and this is often an industry website with 7 different and inequivalent types of chemical and ingredient purity grades. It is crucial to understand how they can impact products. Using a lower purity grade than a product's intended use requires could be a costly mistake. Similarly, using a higher purity grade when not required could result in unnecessary costs, but will often result in a significantly better customer experience.
Aha.
I can't say it better myself. I'm gonna claim that mine. That's mine.
You
But
can't claim that.
I won't. But I mean, right there. I mean, it says it all. So here's the big spoiler that a lot of people have been waiting for, and I and this is, you'll understand if you're one of those people who watched or listened to the first episode last week and said to yourself, for God's sakes, tell us how to figure out what's water soluble. And I'm like, if I don't explain it to you, you're in full, and give you the backstory, you're never going to accept it and you're never going to understand it. So the fact of the matter is, and you're gonna hate me when I say this, but this is the absolute truth from 2 people right now that are from this industry that have more chemical and manufacturing and behind the chair and the trichologist, take that into account, experience than most people that I've ever met in this industry. You know how you pick a curly hair product to make sure that it really is curly girl friendly and really is high quality and will give you the best results, and that it's water soluble? Price. That's it.
Wow.
Nobody wants to hear that. But it's absolute. It is
one of those.
It's the only way
that you get what you pay for.
That's exactly it. It's price, because nobody that's making a really high quality product is charging $1 or $2 or $5 for it. They're not, because they can't, because you can't sell it for it. And nobody that's making a garbage product is selling it for $38 a bottle, because you can't get away with it. Because the proof's in the pudding. Because they're going to see the results. Next week we'll go into more details about this, and we're going to talk about some individual products. I mean, I know I pointed out here some, but it was just because of the Jurassic Park. But we've got some sacred cow products that I know a lot of people with curly hair are using, and we're going to break them down using what we just talked about, and we're going to talk more detail about places like TJ Maxx and J.C. Penney and Ulta and so forth. We're going to talk a little bit more in detail about that. But realistically, yeah, it's price. It's price, because literally that's how I do it.
Yeah, because this is really confusing for people.
It's really
like,
confusing.
How would somebody remember all these, chemicals and ingredients and levels, and that's overwhelming. It's too much for people to know. So that's an interesting point.
Yeah, and remember, I hinted last week when Melanie and I were talking about this that. And I've been saying this for a long time. People have been following us for a long time. No, I've been saying this, that the way that we have quote unquote curly girl method approved products or curly approved products, it's outdated. It doesn't work anymore. And that's not a rip on anybody or any organ. It's not. It doesn't work in a 2021 world anymore. And I actually have a meeting tomorrow afternoon with, I had mentioned that. I thought I have someone that can inexpensively and easily put this app together for us that we can put out. And it'll be curlyapproved.com. And we'll be able to give you an easy to look at list, and we'll help you to make those decisions if you don't feel comfortable going just off of price. You'll be able to see, yep, is this really water soluble? Is this really Curly approved in a 2021 world? So we want to move forward from Curly Girl approved, and we want to go to our Curly Girl method approved, and we want to move it to Curly approved or not.
do you think what happened is, we kind of talked about it last week where all of the companies jumped on that marketing bandwagon, and
Yep.
because they saw the need, they saw the growth of that sector of the industry.
Yep.
And so they just, because I guess back in the day there wasn't all these sulfate-free shampoos and cleansers. It was
There were a
the
couple.
Diva. That was like the
That was
big thing.
it,
That's
yeah.
what set them apart. But because that became so popular and they made millions of dollars, of course everybody then wants, is like sulfate-free, sulfate-free. So that's like any product now is pretty much sulfate-free. So those standards have changed because, that's what
Yeah.
we're saying. Like everyone's, now sulfate free, so that can't be the measuring guideline.
Right. That's an excellent way to put it, Melanie. Yeah, because again, manufacturers looked at it and they saw brands like Diva Curl. I mean, you guys know what Diva Curl costs, right? You know what it cost 5-6 years ago. Brands that are making, $3, $4.99 a bottle, giant bottles of products, realize that, hey, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
The consumer is not going to know that we're using the cheapest quality ingredients, that even though they, in theory, because they're going off that
like
outdated level, right, that they're not going to build up because they're going off of that old theory that doesn't work anymore. And, we can charge, $14 a bottle and, on something that's costing us $1.25 to make. We're going to get rich on that too. And that's why they're all jumping in and they'll slap it. That's why you hear me make the comments, and Melanie as well, that people are just slapping Curly on a label and you guys are buying it. That sucks.
No.
That it's so disingenuous.
Well,
it's rotten in this industry.
Maybe we're the dummies.
Okay.
Because they are getting rich and we're not.
Well, yeah. And I won't tell you who, obviously, because I can't. But yeah, we had a very, very large retailer within the last year tell us, say, hey, you want to be in our very, very, very large chain. Put together a raw curls pack that we could sell at a price point in our very, very large chain of, and we'll get you in, because we know a lot of people. We've got insider things, and they were not kidding. We'd be in if we said yes, we'd be in tomorrow. And I'm like, I can't hit those margins. And they're like, what do you mean? Everybody else can. I'm like, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Melanie, we could be rich and we could be living on that on Usepa Island, watching the boats go by. But I can't stoop to that level. So what's the answer? And the answer is, curlyapproved.com. We're going to give you those, we're going to tell you how it is in a 2021 world. And trust me, you're not going to see this in our levels, We're going to do that. We talked about it last week. It's going to be 3 tiers, and there'll be 3 tiers of products. So, I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I read off of this,
Mm-hmm.
because that's it. That is it. So now you know that. We're going to go into more details next week, and we'll go from there. But
put your funny glasses on.
Yeah. So that's why you're really not Michael funny glasses on. So that's why you're not seeing people. You're not seeing your YouTubers. You're not getting these answers from your influencers and because they don't know, because they're not in it. They haven't been in it. They don't know.
Because they think it's Curly Girl approved as well.
Right.
Okay.
And rightfully so. And that's not a rip on them. You don't know what you don't know. Right? There's a very, very popular, very, very, very popular influencer that hawks this stuff like crazy. But she openly said in one video, she did a video about, because everybody wants to know how much a YouTuber makes, so she's talking about it, and she's like, Yeah, they pay me a lot.
Mm.
She flat out admits it.
Hmm.
They pay me a lot.
Okay.
Should you be using it? Yeah.
To be determined.
All right. You want to do a couple questions and we'll
Sure.
couple
And you
questions.
know, that's a scenario that I just saw in the salon literally last week. A new curly client came to me using a lower grade products, and definitely there's buildup in the hair and hair loss. She said, I feel like I'm getting, losing hair.
Yeah.
And I have a bald spot back here. And I was like, yep.
Yep.
And I can tell you probably, part of what's happening. And so we discussed that. So,
Yep. So you can actually see that with your trichoscope when you look at
I
people's
can
scalp
see that without a
when they're
trichoscope.
really.
Yeah.
So but with the trichoscope, when people are using products that are that even if they're Curly Girl method approved, but they're lower quality products, like say this brand, right? Because I know I've heard you say it, that you can actually look at it, you can see the buildup, right? And it's
Yes,
Curly Girl approved.
I don't need the trichoscope for that though, Ken. You can see that in the hair. A lot of people think they have dandruff or dry scalp. It's actually the waxy white buildup on their hair and their scalp that's coming off of those products.
But it's water soluble.
And when you run your fingers along, like if you take your nails and run them upward against the cuticle of the hair, you can see that literally come off, scraping it off, or with our shears, you can see that. But a lot of times you don't even need to do that. You can just see it in the hair. It looks like, like dandruff. And a lot of times these people are complaining about that, itchy scalp, hair loss, bald, thinning hair, bald spots.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that with the visual eye.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. We'll talk more about this. Like I said, it's a lengthy topic. We'll talk more next week and the weekend after. You know what we might do next week, depending on how much we get into this.
Next week is Easter.
It's Monday. We do a show on Monday. Oh yeah, we might do a show and we might not. We'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know. But in whatever we do in the next show, we're gonna try to take live Q&A, and you can ask us questions about this, and we'll tell you more if we can. Okay. Melanie, I currently color my hair every 6 weeks or so at home with Madison Reed products. That's at Mail Order Color Company. I am not ready to go gray yet. Me neither. I am wanting to bleach my hair lighter so that the gray will not be as obvious. I have ordered some Olaplex 0 and Olaplex number 3 to use. I have never used this before. Should I use this before my hair appointment to color and cut my hair and then deep condition afterwards, or use the Olaplex after the hair appointment?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't personally recommend bleaching the hair just to make it, lighter to blend with the gray. I guess that's an option, but definitely not all over. If you're talking about doing that, I would do some just sporadic highlights because that's going to be harsh on the hair. Why not just, if you're using Madison Reed color, that's like a color to help, blend or cover the hair, and it's a gentle color. So that would be a better way to go. But regardless, what is the 0? Olaplex came out with so many different products now.
I forgot. We should get up to speed on that.
Yeah, 0.
Is that the one, the oil? I forget.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
They've added so many things. Like, okay, it started with 1, 2, 3. Now they added a 0. That's kind of weird because it went backwards. But I can tell you the number 3 is a take-home follow-up conditioning product for after the salon use, if your salon is using the Olaplex system. So, using it alone is okay as a standalone, but, it's something I would do. Typically, you would do it after. I guess it's not going to hurt to do it before to try to, strengthen and rebuild the hair. But, this line has just gotten so, like, I don't know. I want to say out of control because, now there's all these different products.
Well, it's because they got bought out by a big company.
Is?
Yeah, some big manufacturer did, so they're making more stuff.
Because, like I say, the treatment, it was meant, to be used in the salon, the 1 and 2, as a protection, a treatment, a rebonding, a rebuilding and rebonding system. And then you went home with number 3, as a follow-up and continuation. But now there's just all these styling products have silicone in them and all that. So it's kind of counterproductive. So it gets a little confusing. Um, but like I just had someone that did a consultation. Her hair is damaged. She can't get in for a month or whatever it is, month or 2 months. And so I sold her some of the Raw Curls, conditioning mask treatment, to strengthen and rebuild and recondition her hair until she can get in. So, that is not a bad way to go. That is not like the best answer, but
Yeah.
typically, like I say, the scenario would be, the salon would use it and then use the follow up. But if you want to go ahead and try, conditioning your hair before going in, sure.
Yeah.
Because if you're truly gonna think about bleaching your hair, it's gonna get damaged. And so, yes, it would be good to try to have it in its best shape before you go in.
Tell your stylist what you've done.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Melanie, I think this next person, I think she just needs some encouragement.
Mm.
Melanie, let's see. I am so proud of my hair. Wavy, soft, blonde, gray, brunette, shiny. I've been following the curly girl method since December. I think my hair is prettier than ever. Then my mom told me she hated my hair yesterday. She's always said ugly things to me about my hair. I put her on Front Street and told her she would never say anything like that to anyone else. I am so sick of her wanting me to be Snow White to her evil queen. If you knew,
that is very. I hate to say
hate
this.
these stories.
Yeah, it's not totally uncommon though.
Nope.
I hear these things quite often, actually. And I have another client who struggles with that with her mother, and she's like, for God's sakes, she's in her 60s, and her mother is still, putting her down or making her feel bad, and it's crazy. It's unfortunate. I don't know, but. You have bugs in here. Oh my God.
It's a gnat. Helen was fighting it before.
Thanks, Helen, for sending it in here. Anyway, and I've seen that. I've seen that with moms and their young girls come in and they're like kind of mean and negative about their curly hair, and it's like that's crazy. Oh my God, can we get rid of this thing?
No, we got one more question.
Anyway, I don't have the answer other than to, if you can, stand up to them or ignore them. But, it's a sad thing. What do they want? They want their daughters to look like them and do their hair like them. That's ridiculous, whatever. I'm sure your hair is beautiful. Don't listen to her. I'm sure everybody else. Listen to surround yourself with the positive people. There's always going to be that 1% that's negative. But, surround yourself with those that are, the positive influence.
Yeah. And you know what? Snow White wins in the end.
That's right.
She's got the prince.
She's got the poison, doesn't she? Or am I thinking of something
else?
No.
That's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
They both die.
Okay.
That's not encouraging. Stop. Next question. Let's see. Okay. All right. Melanie, I came to the realization that my hair doesn't do great with shampoo, and I'd like to go back to using a no-poo cleanser. I used Diva Curl about 10 years ago and loved it. It even reversed some hair loss. However, I've heard the formula changed and now it causes hair loss. Is this true? I've only used Diva Curl No Poo, so I'm not familiar with other brands. I like the No Poo because I felt like it cleansed my hair well, but left it soft. Can you let me know if Diva Curl is okay to use or if there's another good brand I can try? I can't afford raw curls right now, though.
Yeah, because of course I was going to say the raw curls.
Of course you were.
That's what people love about our cleanser is because it's in between a shampoo and a no poo. So
conditioning cleanser.
Yeah, it's a conditioning cleanser. Oh. Well, yeah. So you get the feel of a traditional shampoo where you get a nice soft lather and it cleans the hair, but you get the benefits of the no poo where it's nice and conditioned and silky and soft. So it's kind of that perfect combination. But of course it is, more pricey. However, that being said, not really. I feel like you don't use as much, So if you don't just look at the upfront costs and you break it down, it goes a long way. Um, because of, the lather and everything, and you just add you can add a little bit more water to your hair when you're washing it. It just really has a nice suds and it goes a long way. So if you compare the two and how long the bottle lasts, I bet it's going to be comparable price wise. You just have to break it down that way. But if you still can't afford it, then yeah, use the no poo. Their formulas, they say they have not changed, but maybe like Ken's saying, the quality has changed.
Ingredient quality.
Yeah, ingredient quality. So there has been some issues. Now, does everybody have those issues?
Nope.
Doesn't appear to be, the situation.
A lot of people love it. A lot of people still love it.
Still love it. So, what can we say? Try it and see what happens. If you start to have a problem, stop using it, and go to something else.
Yeah.
Save up your money. Stop buying Starbucks.
Yep. That's a good advice. Anyway. All right.
The client that I saw on Saturday, we were having this discussion too, because everyone chooses to spend their money on different things. So, we both, she and I, know people that have a lot of money, tons of money, but they choose to not spend it on their hair.
Yeah.
They just won't. They just refuse. They can't stomach that. It's not in their whatever.
Right.
Whatever I want to say. I don't.
DNA.
Yeah, I don't know. So they get cheap haircuts and they probably use cheap products, whatever. But then they're driving like an expensive car.
So
and they have multiple homes.
Right. So Melanie won't spend her money on a BMW convertible, but she'll buy a bike instead to get the wind through her hair. Right?
That's not a good comparison. But we all have the thing, what we're willing to say. I told the story about the shoes, the Dansko shoes. It took me 3 years. I knew I needed to transition to something more therapeutic, and they're just not cute. I'm used to wearing high heels and, wearing fun shoes.
I remember.
I was totally into buying shoes constantly and, just wearing cute stuff. And then, I'm like starting to have those problems with my feet and my knees and my legs and working so many hours for so many years. But it took me 3 years. I kept going and looking and trying those shoes on, and I just couldn't get two things: the look of them and the price of them. I had never spent more than $60 probably on a pair of shoes, so to me
60.
Yeah.
You mean more like 6 so you can get 18 pairs.
No, yeah, maybe 30. But
don't let her lie to you.
So
and half of them are going back.
Talk about
at $3 a
TJ
pair.
Maxx and sales. So anyway, but yeah, and these shoes, they were like $135 to $150, and to me that's insane. For one pair of shoes. I just couldn't do it. So literally, I would go like probably once a month and go and look at them and try them on and not buy them. I was like, I can't do it. And then I finally did. I wrote
this
down.
is so funny because it's so true.
Yeah, it's totally true. I mean, the salespeople knew me, I'm sure. They're like, here she comes again, that nut,
Waste our time.
Yeah. They don't even come and help me anymore. They're just like, she's just going to try them on and leave. But, yeah. And then
but you got 'em.
After that 3 years, I finally bought one pair. And it was like, wow, once I started wearing those to work, what a difference they made. And it was amazing. And that was it. That was the point.
Not near as cute, though.
Not near as cute, but I just didn't care anymore because it was such a difference that I didn't care how much they cost and how dumb they looked. I went and bought like 2 more pair. And I've been wearing them ever since because it just means such a difference. So kind of like hair products.
Yep.
So there we go.
So you'll spend money on those shoes.
Well, I will now, but
you will now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. See you guys probably next Monday, but maybe not. We'll see what's going on. It's going to depend.
Easter if you celebrate or Passover or whatever
holiday,
it is. Yes.
Yeah. Or no holiday.
Or no holiday.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, well, I was going to say time off, but it's a Sunday.
Right. So have a great curly.
Hope your hair looks amazing for the Easter bunny.
Yes. Have a great curly week. We'll see you guys next Monday.